Welcome to 27 Topics. Our guests today are Mrs. Pat Koch. She is the founder of the museum that we're going to be talking about, and the director of the Santa Claus Museum, Crystal Buehler. Thank you for being our guests today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
As director of the museum, tell us a little bit about the beginnings.
Of the museum?
Yeah.
It first opened in May of 2006, and we have several exhibits that portray the history of the town from the first post office in 1856 through Santa Claus Land and Holiday World.
And that's how I got started. And then, of course, I think Pat, you have, through the years, preserved many things.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about your side of the museum.
My side of the museum, of course, is that I'm Jim Yellick's daughter, and Santa was so popular in this area from the 30s until his death in '84. And having had so much history from my father, and then from my father-in-law, Louis Koch, and then my husband, Bill Koch, and having so many articles from newspapers and pictures and items that were Santa Claus land, and realizing that those things needed to be preserved and presented for other people to see. My father and mother kept everything, as many old Germans do, so I had a huge amount of memorabilia when they passed away. And I knew it needed to be shared, and that history of how Santa Claus Land was started, how the post office was started, how the letter answering campaign was started, all should be preserved with correct information. So that was really my object in doing that.
So the things in the museum are a lot of pictures and clippings.
Right, there are quite a few. We've been very indebted to Lloyd Martin from Jasper,
yes,
whose great-great-grandfather was the first postmaster and who had done a great deal of historical research about the post office. So we have some wonderful articles about the post office. We have some stamping material from the post office. We have an old typewriter. We have one of the long tables that they used in the post office. And the post office, of course, is so connected to everything because of that. The Santa Claus, Indiana postmark, it's what brings the letters there. And my father, working with Mr. Martin, actually, the story is in about 1914 where the first letter answering started.
Yeah.
And so we have a huge amount of what Lloyd Martin has given us about the post office and that postmastering coming down through the Martin family and the Ranke family. How the name of Santa Claus was chosen for that, and how through the years, without computers, it sometimes was one word, sometimes had an E on the end of Claus, sometimes didn't. It's very, very interesting. And then we have tracts of the early town, which was, of course, not where Holiday World is now, nor where Christmas Lake is now, but down toward Lamar, where the castle, and there were several doctors there, and a school, and a church. It was a thriving community, and we have pictures of the tracts, or whatever you call those papers of the tracts.
The plots of land.
And so, you realize how everything began, how it grew and died, and then how it was reinvented again up in the other part of the town.
Well, I think it's exciting to have the museum and everything that's in it,
right,
and all the things that you have collected and put in there. And of course, you mentioned Jim Yellick, and we're in the holiday season here, and to me, even at my age, he's still the true Santa.
He absolutely is, absolutely. Yes.
Certainly had the knowledge of the world.
Exactly.
And everything. And through the years, too, I've noticed that the Santa outfits have changed. In Jim Yellick's time, did they ever change?
I don't believe so.
I mean, it stayed the same, but now it just seems like, they're changing with the dress, and the weather's hot in the summertime, and they dress in lighter clothes, but I don't...
He never did.
I don't think he ever did.
But one of my favorite stories about Santa, and my Santa, was riding in the Dale Fall Festival Parade. He was almost 90, and it was the September Fall Festival Parade, and it was so hot. And I rode with him because I was concerned about him. And at the end of the parade, when we pulled off to the side, I said, you know, Santa, don't you want to take your jacket off? Oh, no, 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 there might be some kiddies out here. He wasn't going to take that jacket off. So we went home, and I said, wasn't that terribly hot? He said, oh, no, it was fine. And he was soaked with perspiration. But because he was so happy doing what he was doing, it didn't matter. He didn't feel it. You know, he just truly, that was his absolute ministry, his whole life. And God bless him. Santa lives on. Santa is that wonderful spirit that will never die.
Yes, and you know, it's great to have those memories preserved in a museum. You mentioned the post office stamps. Every year, are they on display there through the years, or?
No, we just have some original.
Yeah. The post office is just 2 doors down from us in the Kringle Shopping Plaza, and they have a little display of all the old hand pictorial marks that you can see.
What the museum? What are the hours of the museum?
Generally, it's about 9 to 5, Monday through Sunday.
And there's no admission.
It's free of admission. We just accept donations. So children can come in, they can write their own letter to Santa if they'd like, and then they'll get a letter back from Santa in December.
So what are some of the things that you're going to be doing during the holidays here?
During the Christmas festival, we will have Santa's sleigh out where children can get in and get a picture taken with their family for greeting cards or whatever, and they'll come in a frame, and those will be sold for $5. Also, we'll have fudge for sale. We'll also have spring early cookies that the nuns at the monastery make in Fergnan.
And they're good.
And they're delicious. And the proceeds from those help out the monastery as well as the museum.
T-shirts saying, I'm on Santa's diet with cookies and milk on it.
Yes. We'll also have a table where they can color their own ornaments to take home and hang on their tree at home. So there'll be lots of little activities that they can do for free in the museum.
And this will be going on
during the
holidays
Christmas festival,
at the museum.
December 8th and 9th.
This program will air a little bit after that, but that's fine. What else is in the museum? What else is going on? I mean, other than that, and it's open 7 days a week, really.
Well, we have the history of Santa Claus Land. Starting, and we have, I have some of the dishes that we use to serve meals in the Christmas room, pictures of the first employees. We just have a lot of things that were Santa Claus Land memorabilia, and they're very, very interesting. Plaques and little teacups and all sorts of, it's just amazing how many different things we can collect. Some of the employees' uniforms from many years ago. So we go, you know, the post office and then Santa Claus Land and then how that became Holiday World, and we have some of those things. We have some things that were originally from the castle and from the Enchanted Forest. Like in the Enchanted Forest, which was begun in 1935, they made sleighs, wooden sleighs. And my father had collected several of those. And I think there's 1 or 2 in the museum.
There's 2 sleighs and a little elf toy.
Yeah, and then they made a thing that had Easter bunnies on it, so that must have been an Easter thing. And there are people who say they worked in that. It was a toy shop where they did this woodwork. So we have that. We have pictures in front of that statue on top of the hill, the big old statue. I have pictures of myself standing there. I was probably about 11 or 12, and I know my dad and mom took that picture, my brother and I. And then we have a lot of things. We have one of the original bumper cars from Holiday World in there. We have a player piano and it came from our home, the Koch home, and it had been in our family room for years and years when the children were growing up, and then it was stored. And when I found it, I thought it was falling apart. So I had it restored. It's beautiful, and it plays.
It plays very nicely.
Nice music.
And the children really love to sing
that,
along
yeah.
to the Christmas carols as we play it.
A couple of old sleighs. And then we have a display of letters that children have written to Santa since the 1930s. It's a very interesting display because it shows the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the wonderful belief in Santa through the years, but how that's changed from what children wanted, which of course was a small toy or a train or a Shirley Temple doll, to now a computer or an iPod or those, what's the only thing that's changed is what they want. And the other thing that has changed, and I've done them, I started doing them with my mom and dad when I was in about the 40s, when I was 11 or 12. There are many more children who are asking Santa to help them with a bad situation in their homes. And that we didn't hear from children that way in the 30s and 40s. Not that it didn't exist, but it's not in the letters. And so that's, and we get more letters asking for food, clothes, and things like that. And, that's not our mission. We answer the letters and hope we bring some joy through that.
I think you do. I think you've given joy to many, many people throughout the world through those letters.
I think so. And I know how important it is because I have 13 grandchildren, and each one of them has gotten a letter through the years, and it's really important.
I think it is, and it is around the world, and of course, it takes a lot of people, volunteers.
Yes.
How is volunteering?
Well,
for that.
So far, we've been doing pretty good on volunteers. Of course, if there's anyone out there that wants to volunteer, they can always contact me at the museum and we can get that set up. We have about 1,300 letters right now that are ready to be answered, and it's just barely into November right now. So,
and the rush is just starting.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So.
And it's a very, I try very hard to clear my calendar from Thanksgiving to Christmas because it's so important to get those letters answered. And we have volunteers that come into the museum. We have a room, it's the Santa's Elves room, and we have letter writing and we train the people. Every child gets their name on the letter and gets a personal note at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And we try very hard to be very personal with the letter. And parents often ask us to say something about not fighting with a brother or sister or something like that. So when it comes from Santa, it's pretty important. And you have to keep up with them daily because more will be coming in. You can't just say, oh, well, we'll wait till 2 days from now. Mm-hmm. And, we I think a good thing is I've had a couple of church youth groups come in. I think it's a nice thing for young people to do. And it's very nice to have a large group and get a lot of answers at one time. We get letters from all over the world, Germany, Japan.
We get some from Africa. And
everywhere. Yeah.
Well, it is wonderful. And the museum certainly is a must-see anytime, but during the holidays here certainly would be a great time.
I think so.
To visit the museum in Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And we have any closing remarks? Is there anything in closing that you would like to say?
We just love to have people stop by. The museum is a work of love, and it is there for the people to see, to learn the history, to enjoy, to bring their children in. And we think it's worth seeing. And for your child, if they, as Crystal said, to write a letter to Santa, we even have some things that they can do, as she said, while they're there. So I think it adds to the enjoyment of the Christmas season. We'd love to have them.
Very good. Crystal Buehler, you have anything to add here?
I think Mrs. Cook's wrapped it all up for us.
Very good. And the museum is open all the way up through Christmas Eve sometime?
Yes, and then it'll be open after. It will be closed for Christmas, and will be opened between Christmas and New Year's again.
So people could go and visit, and the
Bring
hours
your families
again
and come visit. Generally, the hours are 9 to 5. So
7 days a week.
7 days a week. That's right.
They've got you working, haven't they? That's good. And I'm sure there's a lot of volunteers. So.
Yes, we do. We are very grateful for our volunteers.
Well, good.
Very grateful.
And I want to thank you, Crystal Buehler, the Executive Director of the Santa Claus Museum, and Mrs. Pat Cook. Certainly an honor to have you on the program to hear about the things that you have in the museum for everyone to see. We want to thank you for being our guests and hope that we all have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you for having us.